Hey.
Are you in town for another meeting?
Yep, I brought my A-team.
Make the most of the weekend before it's gone.
This is my family. This is Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi there.
Be a weekender and book your stay at Hampton. Feel the Hampton.
I have never seen it happen during a game here. Good to see you.
Will a young man named Declan please come to the press box? Declan, please come to the press box. Spirit welcomes the teams in the Spirit Tunnel: Sterling FC 01, McLean under 12 girls, SOCA Charlottesville under 12, and ODSL.
Crystal Dunn has been nothing short of fantastic for the Washington Spirit in 2015. The second-year speedster out of North Carolina has spent most of the season atop the National Women's Soccer League scoring charts, netting 9 goals in 13 matches. The Spirit have won 6 games. She scored the winner in 4 of them and passed out the game-winning assist in another. And in the 6th, the 3-0 win over Seattle 2 weeks ago, all she did was net the second goal and draw the penalty kick for the third. Tonight, Dunn and the Spirit will have to eclipse the son of the best player in the world right now, Carly Lloyd. Lloyd won the Golden Ball at the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup after coming to life in the knockout stage. Her hat-trick against Japan was the first in the history of the competition to come in the final match. And that form hasn't done in NWSL. Lloyd has scored in the Houston Dash's last 3 games since coming home, including the Ladies Circle winner on Wednesday against FC Kansas City, bringing her total to 7 straight games with a goal in all competitions. Tune in candidates on a beautiful Saturday night in front of a sellout crowd at Maryland SoccerPlex. What could be better? And welcome aboard. Michael Minnick here with you. Daniel Malagari joins me shortly. The completion of a 3-game homestand for the Washington Spirit. They've beaten the first-place team, Seattle. They've tied the second-place team, Chicago. We'll see what they can do against the fourth-place team in Houston as the Spirit come into this match in third place. Up-to-date table with Seattle's win earlier this afternoon over Boston 2-1. The Rain have scored 30 points now through 15 matches. Chicago in second place, they have 26 points, but they've done it in just 13 matches, so 2 matches in hand to make up one Chicago. The Spirit in third place with 21 points out of 13 matches. Then it's a Dash in fourth place with 20 points out of 14 matches. And then below the cut line right now, it's FC Kansas City with 18 points, Portland with 16, Western New York with 15, Sky Blue FC with 14, and Boston with 12. So clearly a big match for these two clubs tonight. Houston comes in having won their last 2 matches with Collywood in tow, beating Western New York 1-0 on Wood strike in the 49th minute. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Collywood scoring the winner in the 85th minute midweek against FC Kansas City in a 3-2 win. In both those wins, Houston was able to leapfrog the team directly in front of them in the table, and the Spirit hope to prevent that occurrence tonight as they come in with just a 1-point lead on the Dash. Teams taking their places in midfield. Let's run through the starting lineups for you. First for Randy Waldrum in the visiting Dash is Aaron McLeod, the Canadian international, in goal. Megan Klehenberg, Tony Presley, Ellie Brush, and Ella Masser, the captain, across the back. Carla Wood next to Andressa, and Rachel Axon in midfield. Morgan Bryan misses out with an ankle injury. Up top, it's Kaylia Ohai, Jessica McDonald, and Camila, the Brazilian. Spirit starters tonight. Ashlyn Harris gets the nod in goal. She'll play behind a back four that's pretty much been intact for the last 6 weeks. Catherine Reynolds at left back, Estelle Johnson and Megan Oyster in the middle, and Whitney Church at right back. In the midfield, it's Allie Krieger, Christina and Joanna Woman, and all Penn State contingent in the Spirit midfield behind a front three of Francisca Ortega, Crystal Dunn, and Diana Matheson. The benches tonight, Houston has just 4 reserves available. Bianca Henninger is the backup keeper. Tiffany McCarty, Nikki Cross playing in her final match, and Melissa Henderson are the subs for Houston. For Washington, the backup keeper is Kelsey Weiss. Field subs are Caprice Tadasco, Angela Salem, Josephine Chukwunonye, the newly added Nigerian, Amanda DaCosta, Haley Rasso, and Tori Huster. So 2 changes in the lineup for both teams since their last match. The Spirit dropping Huster and the injured Laura Del Rio in favor of Joe Lohman and Francisco Ortega. And for Houston, as I mentioned, Morgan Bryant out as her place is taken by Axon, and Melissa Henderson is out today. In place of her is Camila. So a great match shaping up tonight as the two teams are introduced, and both teams will really be watching the scoreboard once this one ends tonight, as that 8 o'clock match between Chicago and FC Kansas City has a lot of bearing on the standings heading into next week, as season, believe it or not, heading into its final full month here on the first day of August. And almost this feels like a World Cup group for the Spirit the last 3 weeks. You beat the first place team, you tied the second place team, and now you're hoping to get 3 points, as it were, against the fourth place team. And 7 points out of this homestand would be absolutely fantastic for the Spirit. 5 wouldn't be bad either. 4 would be just okay. And as I mentioned, it would be disappointing to have Houston pass you on your home field. Estelle Johnson, the final Spirit starter to be announced. She nearly scored her first NWSL goal last week. Was denied by a great save very late from Karina LeBlanc. Step aside for the national anthem. You're watching the NWSL on YouTube.
By the Seneca High School ROTC. Gentlemen, your hats for the singing of the national anthem by Laura Lane.
Great performance of the national anthem included here at the Maryland SoccerPlex. Two teams will shake hands with tonight's officials. Margaret Domka has the middle. Corey Richardson and Mike D'Angelo are the referee's assistants. And Chris Brines is the fourth official. Before we have kickoff of this game, we'll have a special moment of recognition. Nikki Cross announced earlier this week that tonight's match will be her final one as a professional. As I bring in Danielle Malagari, Nikki Cross has played different leagues, different levels. She's been a very fantastic player and a fantastically versatile player at every level and every team she's played for.
Yes, you know, she was up in Boston in the WPS days, obviously over at Bayern Munich for a few years, back here to the Spirit, and then down to Houston. So she's has had an absolutely colored career, and it's, I guess, our privilege to have her here in her last game.
Yeah, getting flowers and a hug there from Ashlyn Harris, and of course Nikki came back to NWSL, played for the Spirit last year, then was traded in the offseason, and great piece on the Houston Dashes website this week talked about how Nikki was, she was not too excited about coming to Houston, not just, not because of the club, but just because it was leaving a DC area that she was very comfortable in. But for the sake of Randy Waldrum, she decided, I'll play through the World Cup at least. I'll help the team through this transition, and then I'll hang it up. And she's done exactly that. And
Randy Waldrum just said she was such a professional in this time where she was called in to kind of fill in for some of the national team players that were gone. So, just a huge kudos to her for everything that she's done across her years in any of the leagues that she's been a part of. And it just has shown her true professionalism. So, like I said, such a privilege to have her on her last evening.
Doesn't start tonight, but I think it's going to be a very safe bet that she'll play at some point as she joins the,
I'm sure
the
she
team
will.
picture with the starting lineup. So, Danielle, as we bring you in, big match tonight, as the last two have been for the Spirit. You're playing against a team, once again, that's in playoff position and trying to hold them off and stay in third place.
Yes, isn't every game a big game?
That's right.
Certainly at this point in the season, with everything going on and kind of people transitioning in and out of the top four. But 3 points here. I guess I remember seeing Seattle's at 27 at
30 now.
30 now with their win against Boston. So 3 points, both ways for either the Dash or the Spirit would be huge to keep them into playoff contention. Yeah, if the Spirit can win tonight and Chicago loses to FC Kansas City, then the Spirit would be within a game, just 2 points of Chicago for second place. Yes. So every point counts at this point in the season. So like I said, both teams are definitely vying for the 3 points this evening. Two teams will huddle, get final instructions from Randy Waldrum to our left and Mark Parsons to our right. Give you the starting lineups once again for this one. For the Spirit, it's Harris in goal, Reynolds, Johnson, Oyster, and Church across the back, Krieger, Nairn, and Lohman in midfield, Ordega, Dunn, and Matheson up top. For Houston, it's McLeod in goal, Klingenberg, Presley, Brush, and Masser across the back, Lloyd, Andressa, and Axon in the midfield, Ojai, McDonald, and Camila up top. And the question that Germany couldn't solve, Japan couldn't solve, a couple teams in NWSL also couldn't solve. How do you stop Carly Lloyd? We'll see what Mark Parsons can come up with tonight. Exactly. I mean, we were talking about in pregame, is he going to put somebody on her that's going to chase her around for 90 minutes? How do you stop her? Obviously, it's pretty similar lineups, a 4-3-3 for both teams that they're going in. So hopefully, the Spirit have some sort of answer for it because Carly Lloyd is absolutely on fire at this point in her career. Lloyd's in the center circle to take the kickoff with Andressa, and of course, as she's all against Japan, she's a threat to shoot from here if she feels like it. Let's hope she doesn't do it from the kickoff, though. I have seen it done before, but let's hope not this evening. Yeah, Averbush did it in college. I remember. 2 seconds in, she scored for North Carolina. Yes. I'd be interested to see who that was against. Fastest goal in NCAA women's soccer history. Dash in the road blue tops tonight with the white shorts and blue socks. Spirit in the home blues with the red on the shoulders, red shorts, and red socks. Ashlyn Harris wears the black to our right, and Aaron McLeod in the green to our left. Underway here at the Maryland SoccerPlex, a key match to start the month of August. Axon switching it left, and an early touch for Whitney Church. Goes right for Church, and I mentioned it in my open, Danielle. A lot of Penn State flavor for both teams as the entire Spirit midfield's a former Nittany Lion, and one here as Krieger fights with Lloyd for the ball, and Oyster will clean up and knock it out for a throw-in. Then you've got McLeod in goal on the other side, so
And then Church in the back for the Spirit.
I mean, Penn State has just been a staple in the women's game for at least the last 15 years, if not more, if not longer. But they've just been able to consistently put out great players year in and year out in every single league that we've had here in the U.S.
We'll see Jess McDonald's long throw from the left side. Coming in towards Christine Nairn. She wins it in the air. Second ball popped up by Church and cleaned up by Matheson. Only as far as Rachel Axon, who pops it into the air. Header flicked on by the dash. Still loose in the box. Bit of a tangle here. Still loose finally, and it falls to the feet of Houston. Back here for Lloyd. Her first time shot almost forces a save out of Harris as it hits the top netting and goes just over. When you're on your game, you're on your game. Carly Lloyd nearly on yet another spectacular goal just 45 seconds into this game.
Yes. I mean, when you're hot, why not? Why not try to take that sort of shot? But Ashlyn Harris seemed to be ready for that.
Spirit unable to clear that ball there. A lot of trouble there at the top of the 18.
A lot of miscommunication. I don't think anybody really knew who wanted that ball.
Wood flicking on, one by Nairn. Second chance for Carly Lloyd. Goes right, forces the first touch of the game from Francisco Ortega. Now knocked forward by Andressa. And the Brazilian can't keep it in play. A throw for Washington. Margaret Domka will say, hold up and wait as the second ball was on the field. Now she whistles the ball back in play. Comes towards Crystal Dunn. Now the league's co-winning score with Beverly Yanez's strike today to open things for Seattle in their 2-1 win over Boston.
But she has yet to play a game. She just started her game, so
That's
let's see what she can do in these 90 minutes.
And Yanez has played 2 more matches as well.
Yes, correct.
Nairn from Nairn territory tries to go low and nearly forces Erin McLeod into a save as we've seen midfielders that can score from distance test both goalkeepers early.
Yes.
Lloyd one end and Nairn at the other.
Yes, absolutely. And Nairn is absolutely capable of hitting it from that position. I'm surprised she actually took that first touch. Usually she loves the ball rolling at her, and she can hit it with a ton of pace with either foot.
Spirit have scored 4 goals in the first 15 minutes of matches. That's their best 15-minute stretch in the first half this year. The Dash have only scored 1 in the first 15 minutes. That came back all the way in their 5th game of the year, a penalty kick from Rachel Axon, so they haven't scored in the run of play in the first 15 minutes all year. Crystal Dunn now tries to find Matheson, but it's won by the U.S. International Megan Klingenberg, and she clears it upfield for Whitney Church, who goes back to Ashlyn Harris. Plenty of Tar Heels on the field as well. Klingenberg, McDonald, Harris, Dunn, Carly Lloyd, cutting back. Wood in the box, trying to get a step on Nairn, still fighting for it on the inline. Wood will double back, chip towards the middle. Chance now for Andressa. Laid off. Axon will hit it from deep. Deflected on the way through by Jess McDonald. And it goes by Ashlyn Harris, and they're actually going to say, I believe that hit a Spirit player.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure McDonald was the one that got a foot on that.
Yes, I mean, I don't even think there was a Spirit player near her in that moment, so I'm pretty shocked that goes out for a corner kick.
And the second question I have is, was McDonald onside when she touched that ball?
Right.
Here it is from distance pretty clearly.
Yes.
Megan Oyster was on her back.
Yes, it doesn't seem as if any Spirit player was close to that ball.
Corner in towards the middle, headed by Oyster out as Axon was in the mix. Fought for now by Andressa. Touch forward now for Crystal Dunn. Dunn turning on the speed, held up well by the combination of Klingenberg and Masser. Ortega doubles back for Matheson. Gets the ball inside, looking for Dunn. Dunn at the top of the 18 for Lohman. Joe on her left foot has it deflected, and it will knuckle towards the sideline and will go out for a Spirit corner, their first of the match.
What a great counterattack in the first 4 minutes here. Unfortunately, actually, Houston did a great job in defending that. Masser really slowed Ortega down at the center circle and really allowed numbers to get behind the ball for Houston.
I'm not sure Matheson could have played that better. 2-on-4, found the right angle to find the feet of Joe Lohman. Christine Nairn will set this up. Houston aware of a possible shoot corner with Matheson and Ortega all on this near side. Instead, it'll be Nairn hitting it deep towards the far post. Oyster rising for it. Has the ball deflected out, and it will be a Houston throw. And tweet from our friend Jennifer Gordon at the equalizer earlier. The Spirit, the only team in the league not to score on a header this year. And that streak continues.
I actually did see that stat earlier when I was looking at the stats on the NWSL website. But really, they don't really have that type of player on the field that's going to score those types of goals.
Yeah, it's more of a play it forward and let Crystal Dunn run past people sort of offense. And it works pretty well.
Yes.
And Mark Parsons has built that team to be that kind of player. Dunn, Rasso, Ortega, Matheson, all the kind of player that can beat you one-on-one.
Right.
Laura Del Rio, too, who, if you were with us last week, suffered an injury right before the half and pretty much done for the season is the report on the Spaniard. And I hate to see that because I thought she was really starting to round into form for this team.
She was, I guess, what we would say peaking at the right time for the Spirit. She really had a lot of her best games recently.
Andressa, the newly acquired Brazilian, going right for her compatriot Camila. Cutting back on the backtracking Ortega. Camila towards the sideline, marked by Catherine Reynolds. And Reynolds does well, but off the deflection, it will be a corner for the Dash. Unlucky for Reynolds, they didn't go out for a throw-in. And it will be Camila, the 20-year-old from San Bento do Sul, Brazil. She and Andressa both just 20, but they've made an impact for this Dash team. Camila's right-footed serve. Headed out by the Spirit's Oyster. Kept alive by Klingenberg towards the left. Headed back in the mixer by the Dash, but off the mark as Ojai was trying to keep it alive for Presley, and it goes out for a goal kick.
And that was very well defended by the Spirit. Megan Oyster getting to that ball first time. Because when you have players like Presley and Lloyd crashing into the box, you certainly want to be the one that tries to win it.
Megan Oyster, of course, started the season opener against Houston. She's played every minute of every game since then. Oyster, the rookie out of UCLA, and what a find she was in the draft for Mark Parsons. Crystal Dunn with a good first touch. 1-on-4, she'll play to the middle for Loman. Ortega open to the left. It'll come for the Nigerian. Ortega in the box on her left foot. Ortega strikes it, but right at Erin McLeod.
Certainly a good strike. A little bit harder, too hard of an angle to strike from. Maybe if she would have slotted it across, Matheson and Dunn were crashing onto the 6. Seemed as if it was an easy save for Erin McLeod.
Counter for Ojai. Left for McDonald. Marked by Whitney Church. Stumbles a bit. Regains her footing for Ojai. Ojai hits it with the right foot, and a great save from Harris to keep it out at the far post. And that stays in play right till it goes to the corner. And finally does go out for a corner kick. And it's almost become routine for Ashlyn Harris to do this every week, but it still is impressive and incredible.
And something, since Ashlyn Harris has come back, she's been so big time in the opening moments of every single game so far. She's had to make these types of saves in the first 10 minutes to keep her team in the game.
Spirit, though, conceded another corner to the third of the match for Camila. Right-footed serve in towards the 6, towards the far post, headed out by Krieger this time. It'll fall for Ojai on the second ball. Good work there from Dunn to dispossess her former college teammate. And Klingenberg will knock it out for a throw-in up the line. Good start to this one. 8.5 minutes in, we've had a couple chances both ways.
And that's what you want to see in the first 10.
Have to wonder, too, if this is a pace that's going to favor the Spirit the longer this game goes on, because Houston did play midweek.
Certainly, yes. Houston playing at home on Wednesday, and then, coming here and turning around. I mean, with the heat in Houston and then coming up here, it's still a little bit of a hot day. No cooling breaks here today, but it's definitely a tough turnaround.
Wonderful turnaround from Dunn, playing it centrally, blocked by Presley and cleared by Ella Masser. Church now for Nairn.
And those are certainly the types of services you want to put into the box, slow and hard across the 6. Presley did a great job at getting there and at least getting a foot in to not allow it to continue to cross the goal. Those are very, very hard crosses to defend.
Reynolds gives it away to Andressa. McDowell making the run for red shoulder. Good track bet there from Alec Krieger to allow Loman to attack the ball and steal it away. Direct now up the right side. Matheson will turn on the Jets, but flag is up on the Canadian, and it will be a free kick for Houston here in the 10th minute. No score here, but it hasn't been for lack of trying. Lloyd, Nairn, Dunn, all the usual suspects have had chances.
Yes, and both goalkeepers having to make at least one save so far.
Canada, of course, maybe not getting quite as far as they would have hoped in the World Cup getting to the quarterfinals, but I thought Erin McLeod might have been their best player. Had a fantastic tournament and goal, allowed just 3 goals in 5 matches. She'll take the free kick here. Going direct up the middle. That'll be an easy header for Estelle Johnson for a 50-50 ball won by Axon. Popped up now by Nairn. McDonald couldn't turn that one for herself, and Ashlyn Harris will come jogging out and get a touch of her feet.
What another great crowd this evening. I believe, we were told, I think a day ago that it already sold out. No walk-up tickets were available. As you can see on Spirit Hill, totally packed.
I think that's as packed as I've seen Spirit Hill.
Yes, I agree.
Humorous moment before the game is the sprinklers were on, and PA announcer Ken Mees was telling the people behind the goal that the sprinklers might get you wet. And you can kind of see they're like, well, it's kind of a hot day. We're okay with that. And not many people moved.
Right.
They got 3 warnings, and then they got wet.
And then when the sprinklers came on, he said, I told you so.
Lohman back for Reynolds. Chip up the line for Crystal Dunn. Actually, that's Ortega getting the better of Brush, and it will be a Spirit throw-in. Crystal Dunn cutting back on Master. A bump there from Ella Master and a foul there from Ella Master.
Yes. I didn't think maybe their feet got tangled up a little bit, but I think the call was mostly made because Ella Master was using her arms to defend.
Yeah.
Certainly.
A little bit of a push there to the face, and Master a little bit the worse for wear there. She has worth Margaret Domka, and not that she's going to get carded for that, but Master's got to be a little bit more careful because she is on 4 yellows for the season, so another one would be a 1-game suspension for the Dash captain. Christine Nairn and Diana Matheson eyeing this one. 2-player wall for Houston. Might be a touch and cross here. Now Matheson will step off. Nairn playing it in low. Looking for the run forward of Allie Krieger. Kept alive there, and the whistle goes against the Spirit.
Seemed as if they were going to handball on Crystal Dunn. But honestly, I don't even think she had a chance to react. I thought it just hit her. And that was a very good service by Christine Nairn. Those are, like I said a couple minutes ago, those are very, very hard to defend, low and hard, trying to clear it, especially with all the numbers inside the box.
Yeah, easier to get a shot if you're a Spirit player, and a dangerous place for a deflection. McLeod's not going to be able to see the ball as well because it's low, so she's going to be screened a little bit. Camila, fouled by Catherine Reynolds, and Domka immediately running over to give a word here to Ortega.
Seemed as if Ortega just kind of got stuck, feet got stuck together, but it was certainly a foul. Dangerous territory for Houston at this moment.
Ojai, Camila, the options here. Ojai's got a hand in the air. And it will be Ojai serving it in towards the penalty spot. Headed high by Tony Presley towards the end line. And Oyster will watch it go for a goal kick. Actually, it will be a corner.
The way Oyster was tracking it, it seems as if she realized she got the last touch on it, so she was doing anything she could to save it from going out of bounds.
Christine Nairn, aware to the danger of a possible short corner there, sprinted over to not allow Camila and Andressa to do that. And now it'll be Camila serving a more conventional ball towards the far post. Over everybody as Presley was the target. And all the way out for a throw-in for Washington in the 15th minute. Matheson has the ball stolen away. Now fought for and won in midfield by the Spirit and Krieger. It's Nairn going left for Reynolds. Ortega wants it up the line. Instead, Reynolds goes inside for Joanna Lohman. And now Estelle Johnson. Spirit were pushing for a late winner last week and had a set piece, and as the ball cleared off the line by Chicago, and watching the replay of it after the game, it was Estelle Johnson that got the last shot, and that would have been her first professional goal had it gone in.
And what a good game we had last week with the game against Chicago. Kristen Press coming in and scoring a great goal. But on the other side for Houston, the goal that Carly Lloyd scored, to put them up 3-2 against FCKC. There's been some great games recently in the league.
Dunn dummied that one on the cross from Krieger. Ortega comes to get on the other side. From Nairn territory, she'll try it, and too high for Erin McLeod.
What I'm interested to look at, I don't know the graduation years, but McLeod and Nairn. McLeod had to have known that was coming from her former. I don't know if they played together at Penn State, but if she did her research, she knows Nairn's going to be looking to hit those types of balls.
Yeah, those two missed each other, but I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure the reputation is well known. Corner here for the Spirit as that shot from distance was deflected. Christine Nairn, both hands in the air. Serve towards the goal and an easy catch for Erin McLeod. Too far in. Roll out for Carly Lloyd, and why not give Carly Lloyd an early touch, but she nearly turns it over. McDonald there recovers. Ortega went for the steal. Not seen Lloyd much on the ball so far. It's been more of the Brazilian connection and some of Ojai making plays for Houston.
Yes, in the first 5 minutes or so, she got those 2 good looks on goal, but hasn't really had much in the last 10.
Goes direct here, McLeod does for Lloyd. Flicked into space for Camila, but Reynolds wise, so that will go back to Harris. McDonald applying some pressure. And Harris knocking that one out for a throw-in, so McDonald doing her job. Forcing Harris to rush that one a little bit. Throw for the converted forward Ella Masser for McDonald. Popped up in the air, won by Reynolds. Now Lloyd turning inside. Well tackled out by Christine Nairn to find the feet of Lohman. And she is fouled there from behind by Andressa. Quick restart from the Spirit as Nairn will go right. We'll see that foul again. Ball up the line for McLeod. For Matheson as McLeod will retreat back to her post. Matheson skins her, plays in the middle. Header from Lohman is wide. McLeod will come off her line and play it with her feet, and with pressure from Ortega, pick it up. Joanna Lohman had the week off last week and looks pretty fresh today for that.
But even in all the previous matches, she's just been doing so well for the Spirit. You know, coming in, getting traded from Boston, not really knowing what her role was going to be. She's really filled in nicely in the middle of the field. She has taken over a leadership role, and she has done incredibly well.
Ball played directly forward, and Wood will pressure Johnson into the pass back. Left-footed ball from Ashlyn Harris forward. Wood will try again. Andressa inside, dodges the tackle from Reynolds, now goes down on the way through as her ankle was caught, but play will continue. Ortega can't keep it in play, and it'll be a dash throw.
I think the Spirit need to be a little bit cleaner out of the back. The last 2 balls that they've played to Ashlyn Harris she's retreating to her own goal, trying to clear it one time. They just need to be a little bit smarter. If they don't have the options, maybe serve it longer, collect yourself further up the field rather than asking your goalkeeper to hit those types of balls.
Well, and I believe both of them have been hit lefty as well, which is not her preferred foot. Throw for the Spirit deep here in the 20th minute. Seen more fouls in the last few minutes, Danielle, and I think that's a natural response to the amount of offensive chances we saw early where defenses are just trying to get their footing and slow things down a little bit. Klingenberg up the line for Ojai. Marked tightly by Whitney Church. Ojai still tries to turn her. Church stands her ground, and a pause there from Allie Krieger as Church wins the throw. Up the line it comes for Crystal Dunn. Nice touch inside looking for Krieger, but broken up by the dash midfield. Second chance to attack for Nairn in the Spirit as she goes left for Reynolds. Lohman wants it in space. Instead it comes back square for Nairn. Krieger now. Broken up by Carly Lloyd. But she stumbles, and there goes Crystal Dunn. Matheson, 25 yards from goal. Back again for Dunn. Dunn trying to get a step on Klingenberg, ripping the shot, but a good catch there from Erin McLeod to not allow a rebound.
Yes, very, very good hold by Erin McLeod. Very well read by her. Her angle was great.
And now space for the dash to counter as Camila will start the other way. Still on the ball as McDonald goes to her right. It'll come right for Jess McDonald. Time to pick out a cross for the league's all-time winning score. Plays it right-footed towards the far post and nobody home. Ojai. Blocked by Church. And a bit fortuitously taken out of the box there by Church on the fall. And Spirit will regroup. Matheson picking up the chip from Oyster. Inside for Dunn, marked by Rachel Axon. In the center circle now for Joe Lohman. And going back to Lohman, Danielle, we saw what Lori Lindsay did for this team last year. It's kind of that veteran leader that gave them a spark. I think Lohman's done a similar thing this year.
Absolutely.
Ortega. Stood up low by Camille, and it will be a dash goal kick. Here's that chance again for the Spirit. Matheson very patient there. And a good rip there from Crystal Dunn, and had Lohman and Ortega on the doorstep. Had McLeod not held that one cleanly. McLeod to Krieger. Now Lohman. Dunn finally breaks up the Penn State trio there. Switches it. Lohman with the steal. Space now for Diana Matheson. Ball inside. Lohman is onside, and a great diving save from Erin McLeod to deny her former teammate at the college level and at the pro level, for that matter, with the freedom.
Yes. I mean, Erin McLeod read that perfectly, but I'm not sure how Joanna Lohman wasn't offsides at that moment. She looked as if she was at least a step or two beyond the back line for the dash.
Dunn is fouled, and now Nairn has an opportunity to try and hit this from deep if she chooses. And yeah, looked like
she looked very offsides.
Yeah, at least 2 steps. Matheson and Nairn the options here. It's been exclusively Christine Nairn taking these all year, but Matheson certainly is capable from this distance also. Both of them look like they want to take it. Nairn's left-footed strike, tipped over by Erin McLeod.
Erin McLeod has been called upon in these first 23 minutes, and she has done a fantastic job at keeping the dash in this game so far. Both goalkeepers have. What a great save by Erin McLeod. She kept her feet moving. She came across. Read it well.
That was ticketed for the top corner.
Yes, great touch.
Been a busy match for corner kicks. The Spirit have earned 3 now, the dash 4. Righty serve from Nairn. Driven in towards the near post, headed out by Masser. And knocked all the way down the field by Andressa. Going back to the point about the corner kicks, that's not something these two teams have really done this year. The Spirit have earned just 50. The dash just 63 this year.
Did you? Ashlyn Harris just took a throw-in.
Yes, she did.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. that is. I guess if we want to do a replay of that, that was pretty awesome.
I put my head down, and these are the things that happen.
Yes, I think you were just checking on the stats.
Cleaned up by Oyster for Lohman. I've seen that like in the late stage of the game where like it's the 93rd minute, you're down a goal in the World Cup final.
I guess.
But not in a club match in the 25th.
Hey, you got to love her passion. She wanted the ball back out there to play quickly. I guess we're going here to the replay.
We'll get back to that as Krieger goes right for Matheson. Now Lohman. Krieger through, and flag briefly waved over there, and then play continued once Houston won the ball.
And that certainly would have been called on Crystal Dunn. I thought she was the leading. I thought she had the most offsides in the league, but actually Allie Long has her by 1.
Maybe not for long. No pun intended. Portland doesn't play again until Wednesday. Ortega. Lohman. Christine Nairn, who was denied a few minutes ago by a great save from Erin McLeod on a free kick. Krieger put it up looking for Matheson, but Matheson was sitting. She'd been knocked down by Megan Klingenberg on a incidental contact there. Erin McLeod, one of the better goalkeepers in the world with her feet, and played a really nice ball there to Ojai, but Church marked her well, but conceded a throw in here in the 26th minute. No goals yet, Danielle Malagari, but it's been a good one so far. Both teams have had chances, especially through their midfielders.
And these are the types. The first 25 minutes here has made it a fantastic game. Excuse me. And that's what these people want to see. That's what, the hype for the World Cup. All these fans that are coming out to every single game, every single venue. This is certainly the type of soccer that all these fans would like to see.
Jess McDonald's long throw in towards Andressa, headed by Krieger, touched by Church, and now McDonald will try again. Klingenberg, good angle to cross, plays it in lefty, looking for Andressa, but 2 hops to Ashlyn Harris at the near post, and she will distribute out of the back here. Wanted to go quickly, but now we'll think better of it and roll it out for Nairn. Space now for Megan Oyster. She'll take it and move forward towards midfield. Tried to switch it low, and I'm not sure that's exactly what she wanted to do. As Camila got an easy steal and played it back for Masser.
It looked as if she just mishit it.
Wanted to pick out Ortega here on the near sideline.
And that would have been a great ball if it would have gotten through.
Dunn, 1-on-5. She doesn't care. Dunn in the box. Bump from Masser. Shot from Dunn. 1-on-5. It's not a fair fight anyway.
You have got to be kidding me. That was a fantastic run by Crystal Dunn. She collects it with 4 or 5 defenders around, beats every single one, splits the center backs, boom, back of the net past Erin McLeod. What a great goal by Crystal Dunn.
10th of the year for Crystal Dunn, and now she's back in sole possession of first place.
Yes, let's look at it again.
I mean, that's just, I'm gonna go as fast as I can, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And in that moment, right around the top of the 18, as if Erin McLeod is waving to not let the game start again. Looks like she got a bit of a bump in contact with Crystal Dunn. But as Crystal Dunn was attacking the top of the 18, Ella Masser certainly could have pulled her down. She bumped her a little bit. She could have fallen, but she stayed on her feet, and she just slotted it far post. What a great goal by Crystal Dunn.
Well, and the decision-making there for Masser has to be, well, do I want to get a red here?
Right.
Do I want to give away a PK here? Because I think that would have been a red had she pulled her down.
Sure.
And back to the point we made earlier, if she gets a yellow even there, she's suspended for the next game. So it's one of those things where you say, well, we've got about 62 minutes left. Maybe Erin can stop her, and if she can't, we have lots of time to come back.
Yes. But do you think that was going through her head with how quickly Crystal Dunn was moving? Who knows?
I think, crap was what was going through her head.
Exactly.
Chance at it again. You can see McLeod stuck her left leg out to try and stop that, and that might have been what she injured on that play.
It looks as if her and Crystal Dunn went knee to knee, and I believe they are calling for a substitute.
Bianca Henninger is the backup keeper, and she's had a lot of experience this year, of course, with McLeod going at the World Cup, but you hate to have to use a sub this early, and especially for a goalkeeper who, as we said, has been in wonderful form.
Yes, but, unfortunately, due to injuries, the Dash do only have 3 field players available. So, one of the goalkeeper, if this change is made, they still have 2 more subs to bring on, potential field players, but you just never want to see this.
Yeah. Bach, Chapman, Jackson, Oakes, Sesselman, Bryan, all out for this game for Houston.
And especially with Erin McLeod, you really just hope it's nothing to do with her knee, because she has struggled with ACL injuries in the past, and you certainly don't want to, that's not typically how something like that would happen, but, she could have landed on it. It may not have even been the contact. She could have just landed, twisted wrong. We're not saying that's what it is, but you just hope that's what it's not.
Henninger is now going through some pretty vigorous warm-ups here on the sideline.
And they are calling the stretcher on.
So Erin McLeod's day is unfortunately done.
And unfortunately, this is the second time in 2 games that we've had to see a player stretchered off.
Yeah, Lara Del Rio last week, and she's out for the season now. And you hope McLeod is just something where maybe she just stretched something and she's back next week. But the stretcher certainly cause for concern.
And after the contact, you saw Crystal Dunn stand up, and she was kind of bumped and bruised a little bit. She was limping a little. So there definitely was some, obviously unintentional contact from both sides. But with Henninger coming in, she had a great run for Houston before McLeod came back from international duty.
Just look at it one more time, as that was just Crystal Dunn deciding to go. Shook Masser and after this, this game has started at such a good pace. Now you have to slow to a crawl here as McLeod is taken off. And now both teams kind of have to refocus, and that's not an easy thing at all. This is about the time where Algeria got hurt the first time these two teams played, and it totally changed that game, I thought.
Yes.
With the Spirit were really playing well and had some momentum and never really got it back after Krieger went out.
And again, you never like to see this. Obviously, you know the physicality of the game and injuries are going to happen. But we don't know how severe it is. We don't know what's going on. Hopefully we do get some sort of update while we are up here.
Henninger is ready to go on the dash bench, getting a one last drink of water, but the warm-up is off, and she's got her keeper jersey on, and she's mentally preparing to enter this game. And this is a tough situation for a goalkeeper to come into the middle of a game, because that position is so much about focus and chemistry with your back four, and now you kind of have to build that, on the fly here in the first half.
And that's why every single time as a coach you want your players to stay as involved, as engaged in the game as possible, because the moment you have to, the moment you get your chance to shine, you really have to take advantage of it and step up for the team.
Another look at it is McLeod really had to, go full extension there and really stretch out to try and make that save. And she's actually walking into her own power right now, which is wonderful to see.
Yes.
Walking towards the end line and definitely limping, and has that knee wrapped right now, but it's a very positive sign, and Henninger is ready to go, and I believe they'll still make the sub, but encouraging from Erin McLeod as she's helped towards the locker room.
And hopefully we will have an update at some point, maybe around halftime.
Henninger's on in the 34th minute for goal. McLeod comes off. And we'll start with the kickoff here as Lloyd goes towards the left side. Plays it for Megan Klingenberg, and it comes back for Presley. Back to the matter of hand, the Dash have conceded first now for the 8th time in the first 7 games. They have a win, 4 losses, and 2 ties. But the game they conceded first and won was the last one, 3-2 against FC Kansas City. They came back from an early goal from Lauren Holiday. McDonald, Ojai. Broken up by Ordega. Won again by Ojai for Masser. Spirit, on the other hand, have been very good when scoring first. 4 wins, 2 ties.
And Crystal Dunn's 10th goal of the season.
Yes, and looking for her 5th game winner, which 4 leads the league. In second place is that woman, Carly Lloyd. Missed wide. 3 game-winning goals in 6 games for Carly Lloyd.
And those are the types of balls that Megan Oyster can't give away in the middle of the field. If she has no options, it just needs to be a service, up and out. You definitely don't want to give it up at the top of the 18 when you know Carly Lloyd is very capable of hitting that sort of shot.
About the spot where Kristen Press scored from last week.
Exactly.
And just about the same portion of the game as well. It was the 31st for Press. 35th would have been for Carly Lloyd. Chip over the top, looking for Dunn. Gets through for Dunn. Dunn comes around Henninger and finishes. A brace for Crystal Dunn. and the Spirit are cruising in the first half.
Wow. I mean, I really don't have much to say. That was just a world-class finish. It skipped right behind the last defender. Crystal Dunn was just there, tapped it past Henninger with the outside of her right foot. What a fantastic finish by Crystal Dunn.
Masser again, the victim. And you
Wow.
think somebody told Crystal Dunn that somebody had tied her in the league leading scoring?
Yeah, maybe. She could have certainly gotten the update prior to the game. And just when you thought the game kind of took a turn, quieted down a little bit after the McLeod injury, Crystal Dunn was at it again.
Second multi-goal game for Crystal Dunn this year. She scored 2, both in the first half also, at Sky Blue FC way back in April.
And what a great testament to Mark Parsons, taking a chance on putting Crystal Dunn in that position to be, a top goal scorer in the league this year. She was playing as an outside back last year because there weren't many defensive options for the Spirit, and now they're able to move her up, and look what she's been able to produce.
And you can really see the Spirit. Of course, they're going to play through Crystal Dunn, but it seems like they're really starting to play that ball over the top. Presley's not the fleetest of foot. Neither really is Brush or Masser. You're really relying on Klingenberg to kind of be the player that chases her down. Nairn with the win. Axon. Klingenberg will double back. Crystal Dunn will pressure Presley. She wants a third. Cleared up by Whitney Church. Third will come Klingenberg's way in the 38th minute. Touch back from Jess McDonald. McDonald. Switch right by Andressa for Ojai. She'll check it down on the right side, marked by Ordega. And goes off of Ojai last. I wasn't so sure about that, but it'll be a goal kick.
Ojai's not even arguing the call, so it seems as if she was aware.
Spirit unofficially have 6 shots on goal, 2 finished by Dunn. McLeod had to come up big against Christine Nairn, free kick. Made a good save on Lohman also earlier. And I thought the Spirit came out a little slow last week against Chicago. The opposite today.
And other than the Del Rio injury, actually no, sorry, there has been some changes in the middle of the field with Lohman coming back in for this game.
Krieger's pass deflected. Have to look as well at the half to see who released Dunn on that ball for the second goal, as it was a really good ball. It might have been Allie Krieger, but we'll check on that for you at the break. Andressa going direct. Oyster, pressured by McDonald, will knock it out for a throw-in.
And those are the types of things you want to see Megan Oyster make. If she's unsure, just knock it out wide, and you can regroup, get numbers behind the ball.
Another throw for the dash.
Much like the last time Houston was here, I thought Jess McDonald was pretty quiet, and I think she's kind of quiet this evening as well. Seems as if they really haven't been able to find her much on the ball.
I thought she was more impactful last time with her throw-ins rather than her play inside the lines.
She certainly is a dangerous player, and she knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, but she hasn't really found herself in any sort of scoring situations yet this evening.
Reversing a trend she's had in the past. She has scored 5 goals against the Spirit over the last 3 years. Mentioned it last time that Houston was here. I thought that the game where she broke onto the scene in NWSL was that nationally televised game against the Spirit in Seattle, where she scored 2 goals. Led the Reign to victory, and after that season they moved her on to Portland, and she started very well for the Thorns last year, but then when the Alex Morgans of the world came back, she saw her playing time decrease, and Randy Waldham said, "Thank you very much, I'll take her." Goal kick now for the Spirit in the 41st minute. Crystal Dunn's got 2. Spirit will lead by that score, 2-0. Trying to extend an undefeated start at home. getting down to the end too, as Nairn not happy with the contact there from Carly Lloyd. Will continue to plead her case to Margaret Domka as play continues. Ball skips by both Masser and Ordega. A throw for the dash. Spirit just have 2 more home games after tonight. They'll play Western New York in their only midweek home game on August the 12th, and then you have to go all the way forward to September when Seattle's back for the second time in the final regular season game of the year, and be interesting to see what's up for grabs at that point, whether it'll be seeding, whether it'll be a playoff berth altogether. Lots of soccer to be played between now and then.
I think the fact that there's been less midweek games for the league this year has done great things for ticket sales. You know, these weekend games, these late Saturday night games, I think are just so much easier for families to get to, you know, in the summer, as opposed to a midweek game where people have work, camps, everything going on over the course of the summer.
Tackle there from Ordega. Masser dodges that. Plays the cross in low towards the top of the 18, won by Allie Krieger. And now played into space for Ordega. Ordega takes a tumble. Domka says no foul from Ojai, and Kalia will start the attack the other way. Cross towards the middle, won by Oyster. Given away. Lloyd trying to shake through Estelle Johnson and can't do it. Dunn turning inside. What footwork there, but loses the ball. Now Lloyd in a dangerous position, setting up the left foot. Great sliding tackle from Estelle Johnson. Camilo will try again. Right-footed shot. Harris saw it all the way, and it goes wide.
And what we've seen, yes, Carly Lloyd has gotten about 1 or 2 shots from the top of the 18, but every single time she gets the ball, there's a ton of numbers in and around her, really making sure she doesn't see much of the ball. But she's Carly Lloyd. She's going to get herself into opportunities that are going to be dangerous all game.
Goal kick from Harris. Popped up by Lloyd. Knocked forward by Brush. Continues again. Brush will go back to Bianca Henninger, who, if you're just joining us, had to come in for the injury Erin McLeod after Crystal Dunn's first goal. Henninger making her 10th appearance of the year, first as a sub. Camila, won by Diana Matheson. Have to go through the record books midweek and see if anybody in the league has scored 2 goals on 2 different goalkeepers in the league's history. Crystal Dunn's done that tonight.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good idea.
Of course, it's rare you see a goalkeeper taken off. It's always for an injury. That, unfortunately, was the case for Erin McLeod, but she was able to walk off on her own power, so that's good to see. I mentioned earlier her history of ACL injuries. We're not speculating on what it is, but certainly that's the thought that comes first to your mind when Erin McLeod suffers an injury. Christine Nairn, who was denied by a good save from McLeod earlier on in this game on a free kick. And because of the injury to McLeod, we're going to have a good bit of stoppage time here in the first half. I'm expecting at least 4 or 5.
Yeah, it happened around the 30th minute, 31st minute, and took us to about the 35th. So we'll certainly see a good amount of stoppage.
Lloyd for Masser. Axon. Dunn does good work to come back and win the ball, but Oyster can't find the feet of Diana Matheson, and Presley will regroup. Tony Presley's been a nice addition for the Dash since being acquired from Western New York. She's pretty much been a fixture for Randy Waldrum, a 90-minute player.
Which in her time here with the Spirit, when she wasn't injured, she put in some good minutes as well, especially the first and second seasons. Obviously got traded to Western New York at the beginning of this season.
Broken up by Ordega, but for once Crystal done that fast enough to get to it. Have the halftime highlights for you, but pretty much the summary of Crystal Dunn's 2 goals are she's really fast.
The second goal certainly had some good skip.
Dunn wants a third. Left-footed ball in the box, deflected just wide. Brush that time, keeping Dunn from getting the hat trick.
Yes, it looks as if Crystal Dunn was actually going for the service there across the 6. That would have been a hard angle to put a ball in the back of the net, certainly at the far post.
Into 5 minutes of stoppage time in the first half. It'll be Christine Nairn taking this corner, which is the 4th of the match for Washington.
What I like about these corner kicks, and with Mark Parsons wanting to put multiple people at the corners right now, it's just 2, other times it's 3 or 4, it forces the opposing team not to have a target player stay high. They have to get numbers back because of the numbers out wide. Have to get numbers back inside the box to help Mark.
The serve from Nairn bent in towards Dunn. She heads it, and that streak of no goals from ahead are over. Crystal Dunn has a hat trick.
Hey, we said it at the beginning of the game. Crystal Dunn hasn't had her 90 minutes to shine, and she absolutely has shined in the first 46 minutes here this evening. She rose above every single person inside the 18-yard box and slotted it far post with her head. What a brilliant 45 minutes from Crystal Dunn so far this evening.
Well, and the point I was going to make after the service was, because you're not doing one corner kicks, you have to try some different things.
Yes.
Crystal Dunn scoring a header is a different thing.
Wow. I just really don't have much to say except wow. I mean, she's probably, I would love to see our stats of her size. What do we have?
She's listed at 5'1".
Wow. And just her vertical has got to be huge. I don't even know. She rose above every single person inside of the 6-yard box to slot that far post with her head.
Second assist of the year for Christine Nairn as well.
And who'd you say? Jennifer Gordon tweeted it to you earlier? Okay. Maybe she'll tweet something out about that.
I guarantee she's going to be on that now. Maybe we can get her to tweet out some other things before the next game. You know, the Spirit have never scored 7 goals in a match. Carly Lloyd, certainly if anybody can get momentum back for our team, it's Carly Lloyd. And she and Klingenberg find themselves on the opposite end of the scenario they were in a couple weeks ago, where they were doing this to Japan. Through now for Ordega as Dunn tries to turn provider, but a good sliding tackle from Ella Masser.
I think if that ball would have gotten through, Ordega seemed to be just a touch off sides.
McDonald trying to turn, but Johnson waited for her and took the ball. For now, Ojai will try again. Kept alive by Joe Lohman. Nairn for Oyster. Church now. Through for the run of Matheson. Spear looking for a 4th. Cross in towards Ordega, cleaned up by Presley.
And who do we have out here? Crystal Dunn did not even make. I'm good. I'm good with 3 goals at this point. But this is certainly something going into halftime. Mark Parsons has to go in saying, hey, let's not settle for this. You know, we can't be content with just a 3-goal lead. Or don't fall asleep, you know.
Matheson and Krieger playing keep away, and Krieger ended up offside on that final ball, and it will be a free kick for Houston. Short it comes for Henninger. Brush. Lloyd. Ojai. Now Masser. I believe, and again, I'll have to look this up. We've had to do a lot of record book looking. I believe that's the first hat trick in Spirit history. We'll have to find that out for sure. Through now for Lloyd, and she's offside.
Just a touch offsides. You have to wonder, you know, these first 45 minutes with the Spirit going up 3-0, having played a midweek game, being down 3-0 for the Dash. How are they going to respond, you know, with this in the second half? They only really have 2 subs. Or I guess 3 field player subs, but really only 2 subs because they had to. Yeah, they had to make the sub earlier for McLeod. So how are they going to make changes to impact this game? How are they going to find themselves back in it?
Crystal Dunn. Back for Reynolds. Chip into space. The Spears squad and across from us, Danielle had a sign that said, "Houston, we are your problem." More specifically, the problem has been Crystal Dunn.
I mean, this year for any single team, Crystal Dunn has been anybody's problem. You know, she has what? I guess 13 goals now? 12
yep.
on the season. So, I mean, like we said earlier in the broadcast, she hasn't had her 90 minutes to shine yet, and she absolutely has in the first 45 minutes. And, you know, like I just said a couple minutes ago, what is Houston going to do to get themselves back in? How are they going to contain her? You know, how are they going to get themselves back into this game?
And we talked about it earlier in the first half. Ashlyn Harris makes that big save or two that keeps you in a game and puts you in a position to make a run forward.
And both goalkeepers were called upon. McLeod made a great save on an Aaron shot. You know, turnaround. Ashlyn Harris has made a couple of great saves as well. So both goalkeepers playing well. Crystal Dunn's just been able to really find the back of the net on some fantastic work, some individual work, and then some teamwork as well.
And really, in about 15 minutes, she scored 3 goals. Picked it up late in the first half.
Yes.
All right, we'll step aside here. We'll have halftime festivities for you, and we're hoping that we'll have some conversations with the Spirit Reserves coming off their championship last Sunday, and some halftime features for you, and we'll be back with that right after this.
He can play linebacker, he can play defensive tackle. This is a gifted athlete, and obviously he can play special teams. Josh Morgan, touchdown! It's in the net, will he score? Lorenzo Alexander, he can play linebacker, he can play defensive tackle. This is a gifted athlete, and obviously he can play special teams. Josh Morgan, touchdown!
Hey.
Are you in town for another meeting?
Yep, I brought my A team.
Make the most of the weekend before it's gone.
This is my family. This is Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi there.
Be a weekender and book your stay at Hampton. Feel the Hampton.
We're ready? Yeah. Are you gonna do an intro or anything?
Do we need an intro? Yeah. Okay. It's Diana Matheson if you don't know who it is.
Christine there and everybody.
It doesn't matter who I am, I'm the announcer. Don't laugh at me.
Okay.
With the World Cup approaching after coming back from an injury, did it ever cross your mind of not being ready?
Oh, this is a serious interview. With my knee injury, no. With my foot, it was cutting it a bit closer. So yes, I always planned on being in the World Cup. It was just a matter of when, and it was a bit later than I'd hoped, but I was glad I got to get on the field.
Through the injury, what kept you going?
It was a World Cup in Canada, which is at home for me, obviously, which is
You should know that.
Canadian. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and that it sounds like a cliche, but it's true. Like, we're not going to get that opportunity. So just the chance to be able to step on the field in a home World Cup was what drove me. And that, and just being at least on the roster to support my team and help them win.
It's a tearjerker answer. Good job.
You said that pretty monotone.
Yeah,
for a tear.
that was a tearjerker answer. Has the transition back into the Spirit roster, with new faces added this year, been an easy adjustment?
Well, people that I already know have made it a lot easier for me.
You know,
Yeah, had to learn some new faces. I knew the names, so I just kind of had to put faces to names, but everyone's been really nice so far, I guess. Are there any like not nice ones that just haven't shown
There's some nasty ones like Crystal Dunn that you probably haven't heard.
Where I already know her. They were
She's
wasn't
already
asking about it. Yeah.
We're gonna
Next question.
Oh, we're already on the. Okay. Did you feel like you had this spirit support? Say that 10 times fast. When you were at the World Cup.
Yeah, for sure. I hope you guys felt like you were my support too. I think we were watching each other all the time. Got some nice tweets from the Washington Spirit Twitter account, so that was nice too. Whoever runs that. Thanks.
I will say that before every game, Dee texted us all in the group message and said, good luck, and I'll be watching, so. Okay, now for the fun stuff. What's your favorite food? It's really fun.
I don't have a good answer for any of these. I like pad thai. I like Thai food.
Good choice.
I like avocados, and I like chocolate cheesecake. So there's your whole meal.
And we were just talking in the locker room, dried mangoes.
Also dried mangoes. Yeah, good one. And mangoes in general. Delicious.
So the NWSL is looking for a sponsor from the mangoes. All right, your favorite pump-up song?
I like current things, like top 40. I was listening to Sia a lot before the World Cup, like Elastic Heart.
Okay.
Yeah. Lean On right now.
She bumps us. She puts it. Your favorite place to travel?
I played professionally in Norway for several years, and the west coast of Norway with the fjords is like fairy tale land. Like it's ridiculously beautiful. So if you get the chance to go there.
Okay, you heard it first. Your pre-game routine?
Like the whole day or right before?
Let's start with the whole day.
No, I don't have any superstitions all day. Lots of eating, lots of resting, a little mobility, because I'm a bit on the older side of the spectrum, so I gotta loosen up that body. Yeah, and then just some music.
Hey,
Are you in town for another meeting?
Yep, I brought my A team.
Make the most of the weekend before it's gone.
This is my family. This is Joe.
Hi there.
Those were the fun facts.
Be a weekender and book your stay at Hampton. Feel the Hampton.
Reserve coach, coaching assistant coach KJ Smith. First of all, KJ, congratulations. What was that like?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what to say. It was
Speechless?
great. Yeah, speechless. It was a great win, exciting final to watch, but also fabulous for the girls to come out and win it.
Of course, the W League, you're used to playing maybe 2 games in 3 or 4 days, but how tough is that, against the best teams in the league to win 2 games in 3 days?
It is difficult, especially going on the road, busing 13 hours up to Montreal. My girls were professional about it. They got down to business. We made sure they recovered Saturday, ice baths, everything, but they were very professional about it.
So 2007, you win it with the Freedom. 2015, you win it as a coach. So what is it like winning it both as a player and as a coach? Did you give the girls any sort of advice going into the finals? Like, hey, I've been here before.
No, I just kind of told them to enjoy it. That you don't make it to a national championship quite often,
Sure.
if ever, in your career. So just to enjoy it and play their heart out.
And now, has Mark Parsons said anything to you about it? Is he nervous about you
A
coming in?
little pressure, getting the more hardware. No, I mean, congratulations, good vibes. That's about it.
How about this game behind us? Crystal Dunn's been pretty good.
Just tearing it up. Oh my gosh.
As a goalkeeper, how afraid are you to see a player like that coming at you that's playing in that kind of form?
Yeah, I mean, she's dangerous facing goal with her back to goal. She has a lot of speed. As a goalkeeper, freaking out back there.
How many goals has she scored in training on headers?
Not many. Not many.
Well, we were talking. She's 5'1", and she rose above everybody else to score that goal.
Yeah, I was going to say, not many in training, especially against our back line.
Do you draw it up for Crystal Dunn to get headers on set pieces?
No, she's not our target. She's not our target.
Here with KJ Spizak, the head coach of the Spirit Reserves, who were W League champions and assistant coach with the full team. And KJ, you mentioned, you've won a player as, championship as a player, championship as a coach. How different is it to win it as a coach when you're kind of a mentor rather than just one of the players?
I was talking to my manager the night before the final, and I was like, I wish I was playing because it's just as stressful as a coach.
Yeah.
You hope that you prepared the girls well enough, and we went over the tactics and, just worked all season, and you hope as a coach going into that final game that they're prepared.
But at the same time, you can't do it for them. So you have to know that you've done everything that you've possibly been able to do to prepare them for that game. And obviously you have some of the best players in the country here that are in our backyard in Maryland, Northern Virginia, D.C.,
Absolutely.
all that stuff. So how do you, especially with the starting lineup you went with, we had a couple of injuries going into the final. How did you manage them, and how did they prepare for that game?
I mean, all season our roster got us to that, to the finals.
Sure.
From our first player all the way down to our last player, everybody had a hand in getting us to the final. So I wasn't worried about our starting lineup. I was confident in all of our girls and any subs I had to make. So yeah.
For people that aren't as familiar with the W League as we are, it's a mix. It's an amateur league, so you've got to mix with these college players, and you've got to mix also these players that are, more of an amateur status, like your Skogerbows that have been called up to the full team. How nice is it to have players like Jen Skogerbo that have played a little bit professionally, and Aido working with these younger players, with these college players?
It's a great environment to be in, that's for sure, especially for the college kids. Having players like Skogerbo and Genera come in just to raise the level and the expectation. So I think having these players train with the pro team and come to the reserve team, it's a fantastic environment.
And what do you think, moving away from that, with the crowds that you've seen, especially in games that you've been watching on YouTube and here, what do you think, the W League and this league has done so far for women's soccer in this country?
Push the game.
Yep.
Push the game. The quality is outstanding. I mean, you're seeing it tonight here, and there's players here that have played in the W League. So just the W League has been a great position, or great place for players to continue to grow their game.
A foundation for
yeah,
them to
especially when in between the WPS and the NWSL. It gave players like Krieger and Sauerbrunn and players on the national team to continue to play.
A bridge that the Spirit reserves crossed last week, won the championship.
That's right.
KJ Spizak, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
KJ Spizak, our halftime guest, and we'll be back with first half highlights and the second half of this one. You're watching the NWSL on YouTube. Stay with us.
Sweating.
It's in the net. Onyé will score. That is Zoe Alexander. He can play linebacker. He can play defensive tackle. This is a gifted athlete, and obviously he can play special teams. Josh Morgan, touchdown.
Hey, are you in town for another meeting?
Yep, I brought my A team.
Make the most of the weekend before it's gone.
This is my family. This is Joe.
Hi there.
Be a weekender and book your stay at Hampton. Feel the Hampton.
Welcome back to the Maryland Soccer Press. Michael Menick alongside Danielle Malagari, and already a change at the half for the Dash. Danielle, as Melissa Henderson is going to come on an attacking move for Camila, but now the Dash just have one change left.
Right, and this is what we said prior to halftime. How are the Dash going to get themselves back into it? Now they only have really one change that they can make later on in the game, and you just have to wonder, how these changes are going to impact it going forward for the Dash.
And for the Spirit, why change anything?
Exactly.
You're up 3-0 at the half, so the same 11 for Mark Parsons. We set the lineups here for you. For the Dash, it's Henninger in goal as the starter McQuad was injured. Back four of Klingenberg, Presley, Brush, and Masser. Lloyd, Andressa, and Axon in the midfield. Now Ojai, McDonald, and Henderson up top. For the Spirit, it's Harrison goal, Reynolds, Johnson, Oyster, and Church across the back. Krieger, Nairn, and Lohman in midfield. Ortega, Dunn, and Matheson up top. Recapping the scoring for you. Dunn in the 28th. Dunn in the 36th. Dunn in the 45th. And the third one was on a header.
Yes. The first header goal for the Spirit this season.
And obviously the first for Crystal Dunn since she didn't score it all last year. Takes a push there from Presley. But the call will not be made. Play on. As Henninger will collect in her own 18.
And that certainly could have been a foul against Presley. She completely extended her arm and just pushed Dunn.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it there. The arm was out.
And I don't think the official had any sort of angle on it.
But as we said last week, sometimes the only way to stop Crystal Dunn is to foul Crystal Dunn.
But they really have had no answer for her yet so far this evening.
Get halftime stats for you here momentarily. Spirit with the 11-5 edge in shots. Both teams have 4 corner kicks, 2 offsides on the Spirit, 1 on the Dash. No bookings so far, but I think the Dash will maybe add to that number. Frustrating to be down 3-0.
And they have to understand for themselves as well. Obviously, they're fit and they're able to do this, but they did have that midweek game. It's hard to turn around, travel from Houston all the way, up here to Washington. It's definitely probably a hard transition for them. They're a little tired, a little fatigued, but they're going to have to battle through it for these next 45.
Ball through for McDonald, making the run centrally is Henderson. Estelle Johnson gets a foot in. Now Oyster comes over with a really good tackle, and she keeps it in play.
And somebody that they're going to have to look towards is McDonald to get them back into this game, because she has done it in the past, and she certainly has the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. She just has to find herself on the ball a little bit more.
Going back to the point about the Dash and playing that midweek game, they had to come from behind in that game. As I said earlier, they're down 1-0. That got it to 2-1. Then they gave up the goal to Hagen and had to, regroup emotionally. Then Carly Wood scores that golazo to win it.
Yes.
But that's a lot of effort to put out on a hot day, to come back once and then recover another time from a tying goal.
And especially with the limited numbers that they have traveling with them this weekend.
Yeah, and just one sub left we mentioned, and you figure it's got to be Nikki Cross, right? Her last professional game?
Yeah, I mean, you never know. They're obviously going to go for the 3 points this evening, and they're going to continue to attack to try to, cut away the lead, 1 goal at a time.
The corner from Henderson, headed by McDonald and just wide. Was it deflected? No, it will be a goal kick. Henderson and McDonald both saying that, yes, it was deflected, but our center official, Margaret Domka, not buying that, giving the goal kick to the Spirit. Nairn, who had the assist on Dunn's goal in the corner kick, knocking it forward, headed by Presley down. Axon fighting Matheson for it. Axon finding the feet of Andressa, who goes back to Presley. Now Brush. Axon. Back again for Brush. And what we made it again in the first half, Danielle, was the tempo of that game early was very good, and we thought that it would favor the Spirit as this went on, and it certainly has. When you have a fresh Crystal Dunn running against a team that's played midweek, that's a formula you want from Mark Parsons.
Right, and we also discussed, who was going to kind of keep Carly Lloyd out of this game. Was it going to be Krieger? Was it going to be Nairn? Was it going to be Lohman? I think altogether those midfield three have played very well.
And the old axiom, the best defense is a good offense. When you score 3,
exactly,
makes it easier to get the other team off the board as well.
Looks as if Spirit are going to make their first sub of the evening.
Let's put on some more speed and let Harry Rassler run an entire defense. Why not? That's what Mark Parsons is thinking. Bring on the speedy Australian.
Sure. And later in the game, Mark Parsons has to think if the scoreline stays this way, or even if Houston gets a goal back, who are they going to put in that's going to kind of be their defensive, their defensive threat? Who's going to kind of keep the balls out of the back of the net? Is he going to make any sort of defensive changes?
It'll be Diana Matheson making way for Rasso in the 51st minute. And Matheson with a bit of a smile. I'm not sure she wants to come out.
Yeah, I don't think she was sure. I don't think she realized it was her number on the board.
And I think this is kind of the amount of time we thought Matheson would play last week, and then she went a little bit longer. But this is something, too, where you've got Matheson coming off an ACL. You want to manage her minutes and keep her fresh for the stretch run and later in August and September and then the playoffs, hopefully, for the Spirit. So Rasso, the first change for Washington. And going back to your point about defensive subs, you've got Tori Houston and Angela Salem available that would be good for that role. Ball in towards McDonald, headed loose and cleared by Estelle Johnson awkwardly towards the near side. I thought that was ticketed for the corner there for a half second, and then it just kind of died.
Right, and you could have told by Ashlyn Harris's body she really didn't make any sort of move to go after the ball, so it was certainly in front of her.
Done. Left for Ortega at the top of the 18. On her left foot, Ortega's shot is blocked. Second chance for Ortega off the tackle for Masser, and Masser will knock it out for a corner.
Crystal Dunn's like, you know what? I've had enough this evening. Let's see if we can find somebody else inside the 18.
Can I pad my assist numbers?
Yes.
Crystal Dunn's at the top of the 6 right now, and Jess McDonald just picked her up. So she was unmarked there for a half second. So now you've got the 6-footer marking the 5'1" Crystal Dunn. But guess which one of them scored off a set piece? The 5'1" Crystal Dunn. Again, it's the same play from the Spirit. You've got a short option. This time it's Rasso instead of the substituted Matheson. And again, the serve from Nairn towards Lohman this time, headed out. Volleyed in by Reynolds, and Klingenberg called off by Bianca Henninger, and she'll make the play in the box. Still waiting for an official word on Erin McLeod's injury, but as we said, good to hear that she was able to kind of walk off on her own power, and we don't think it's a serious injury, but we're waiting for official word on that. Sustained that injury on Crystal Dunn's first goal. She came out to contest the attempt from the league's leading scorer and came out the worst for wear, unfortunately. Touched back by Brush, and now that we know McLeod's okay, I remember when she tore ACL here in WPS days, the Washington Freedom were out of subs. It's a Kat Whitehill winning goal.
Oh my gosh.
And
I completely forgot about that.
And what was even better about that was the game was not in doubt. It was 4-2 or 4-1 at that point. FC Gold Pride were winning. But her old national teammate Tiffany Milbert chipped her from 30 yards out. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for being a friend. You're going to chip me from 30 yards out.
Or you're welcome.
You're welcome. Touch out from Rasso, a throw for Houston.
I mean, I think the Freedom has had some unfortunate circumstances back in the day, because I believe a game KJ Spizak got hurt and goalkeeper coach Nikki Wright had to go in goal, because I believe Erin McLeod was gone for international duty, or maybe that was the same season she tore ACL.
Lloyd cutting back on Church, playing it inside, blocked by Oyster. Flag is up on Melissa Henderson. It was before the injury. I believe it was the game at RFK Stadium.
Yes, it was.
Wasn't it, against St. Louis, that Nikki Wright had to go in goal for KJ. And I believe the Freedom won easily on that day.
Right.
3-1 or 4-1. Here's the chance again, and clearly Ashlyn Harris knows, hand up in the air. Remember in that game against St. Louis, Sonia Bonpastor and Abby Wambach, I think both had a goal, and they were both really nice goals. Ball forward, headed on by Lohman. Presley with a miss hit, and Henninger will call her off. And speaking of Abby Wambach, story this week that she was going to try and play in the Olympics, and then Jeff DeVeronica, who is the beat reporter for the Western New York Flash, and of course knows Abby well from having covered her since high school, said, well, she didn't really say that she was going to play in the Olympics for sure. She said she was still thinking about it. So we're still waiting to see if Abby's going to maybe hang out after the victory tour or play for the Olympics. I think she's going to stick around for another year.
Why not? I mean, she's still, I remember hearing her say, we'll wait till after
as
this.
Ortega's cross is blocked by Ojai, knocked out for a throw-in.
And, I don't remember if it was an article or an interview or what it was. She was saying she felt as fit as she has ever been going into this World Cup. And so obviously she's taking care of herself, getting herself fit, continuing, obviously not playing this year once she got traded to Seattle and taking the year off to focus on the World Cup. But obviously on top of the world right now with the World Cup victory. But she's still such a huge part of the team. I mean, scoring that goal against Nigeria to give them those points to get out of league or out of group play, she's still a huge impact for the U.S.
Left for Reynolds. Good tackle from Masser. It'll go out towards the end line, and Masser will make absolutely sure that that ball goes out, and it will be a corner for the Spirit. And you mentioned Abby's right zone by Seattle, and that would be a decent addition to the first place team. Get Abby Wambach back in the fold, even if it's next year. Megan Rapinoe and Kim Little and Jess Fishlock would love to serve some balls in Abby Wambach's head.
I'm sure.
And Beverly Yanez, as we mentioned earlier, has not had a bad year up front either. Second in the league in scoring. Was briefly first, but that was before Crystal Dunn said, I'm going to go out and score 3. 3-0 right now as the Spirit take the corner in towards Krieger. Volleyed by Klingenberg and cleared towards midfield. And I really can't think of a great chance the Dash have had since Dunn's explosion. They've been on the back heel ever since the Spirit got on the board.
Right, and with the injury to Erin McLeod, that does kind of take a little wind out of their sails, I would think, for the Dash. But, they still have plenty of time to battle back into this game.
Third meeting between these two teams. The Dash won the first one. That was the season opener, 2-0 on goals from Carly Lloyd and Kalia Ojai. Crystal Dunn didn't start that game because she was coming back from a national team camp, but she came on and made an impact late. The first game of the season that was here was a 1-0 win for the Spirit with a goal by Crystal Dunn. And now she has 3 today. So she scored 4 against the Dash this year at the SoccerPlex alone. Spirit trying to extend their dominance in the series. They've won 3 out of the 5 meetings, have just 1 loss and the 1 draw last year. Ball forward for Rasso. She gets the better of Klingenberg. Rasso in the box on her right foot, playing it back across for Adega. And in a better position was Masser, and she'll knock it out for a throw-in. Rasso really only had that option because she was triple teamed on that right side. And if she tried to go herself, I think she would have been shut down anyway. So she went for the low percentage pass rather than the no percentage attack of goal.
It certainly would have been a hard angle to get any sort of strike. I think she made the right decision. Ella Masser was just in the right place to continue to move it across the field out of bounds.
Haley Rasso could only watch this year in World Cup play as the U.S. beat Australia, but getting the better of the American left back there, Megan Klingenberg. Nice serve in from McDonald. Oh, high in the box. Left-footed shot saved by Harris. But what a cross from Jess McDonald.
Yes, that was a great cross. Ojai took a first touch, and I think she was –
that was actually
Henderson. Henderson took the first touch, and I don't think she was expecting to be as open as she was inside the 18. Kind of took a little bit too long with the second touch to put a shot against Ashlyn Harris.
Lohman. Rasso wants it right. She'll get it. We'll attack Klingenberg again. Played inside for Allie Krieger. Lohman. Overlap from Krieger. Nice work there from the 2 veterans. And that one not so good. Pass back for Lohman's off the mark for a throw-in. Spirit enjoying a 3-0 lead on a hat trick from Crystal Dunn, all in the first half. In the final 17 minutes of the first half, to be precise. As we said, we believe that's the first hat trick in Spirit history. I'm trying to think what would have been close. I think Jodie Taylor had 2 and then one that was caught offside last year on her birthday, but I don't think she got to 3.
You're right.
That might have been against Houston, too. Deflected. Cleared by Church towards the top of the 18. Had her missed by Reynolds. And more definitively cleared forward by Crystal Dunn. Space for Presley in the center circle as Houston looks for one back. Certainly this game's far from over if the Dash can get one back quickly here, but the door's starting to close on them a little bit.
And some of the Dash's best opportunities were turnovers by the Spirit in their own defensive end, kind of midfield third. The Dash just need to continue to press defensively and force them to make mistakes in the middle of the field and see if they can cough it up and build from there. They've done well to build the ball, but some of their best opportunities in the first have come from those sort of turnovers by the Spirit.
Johnson beating Ojai to that ball, but turning it over to Carly Lloyd. Early cross in towards Henderson at the far post. Heads it down for McDonald. Touchback now, and a chance for Andressa. Shut down well by Krieger and forced all the way back. Presley now on her left foot. Serving it in for McDonald. Deflection there as Reynolds gets a head in there, and it eventually falls to the hands of Ashlyn Harris. And McDonald, I think, was making some protest for a call there, but as she'll adjust her headband, she'll get back in position. But going back to the start of that attack, Allie Krieger did really well to not allow Andressa to turn.
Mm-hmm.
Flicked by Naren Ford, picked off by Carly Lloyd.
And that's what's good about the placement for Allie Krieger in the middle of the field. She unfortunately didn't deny that opportunity for Kristen Press last weekend. I don't even believe she was near the play. But in that moment, she was in the right place to just deny that sort of shot from the top of the 18.
Krieger for who else? Crystal Dunn. And she can't quite get to that.
She's fast, but she's not that fast, I guess.
She almost was.
Yeah.
She nearly saved that ball. Presley for Klingenberg. Andressa for Presley. And a switch for Brush. Through for Ojai, and Harris will step out of her 18 and now come back in with plenty of time to get a foot on that one and waste a couple seconds before showing another throw in as she goes up the line for Reynolds. You're joining, she actually took a throw in the first half, Ashlyn Harris, trying to pick up the pace of this game.
And it looks like Erin McLeod has come back out of the locker room. She is on the bench here for the Dash.
Really good to see.
Mm-hmm. And I believe I saw something on Houston's Twitter feed that it was a skin laceration. Yep. So once we get more details, we will let you know.
Yeah, what happened was Dunn was breaking in on goal, and McLeod stuck a leg out to try and make herself big and block the shot, and apparently Crystal Dunn's cleats might have grazed her on the way through. So that's something that's going to sting in the morning, but hopefully not something that's going to keep Erin McLeod out. Cross from Rasso, right off the chest of Joanna Woman, and enjoyed the reaction there from Woman, like, what just happened?
But at that moment, I think Rasso was a little bit too early with her service. There really was nobody inside of the 18. Maybe take another touch or two, see if anybody's going to join you inside the 18 and then get a service off. She was a little bit quick to pull that service off.
Harris yelling for that one in her 18 will again take the touch with her feet before being forced to pick it up.
And you have to wonder if there's going to be, if Randy Waldrom's going to make some sort of change in his formation. Is he going to go to 3 in the back? Obviously, that would be difficult with the speed of the Spirit, but is he going to go with 3 in the back and push another number forward, see if they can put a ball in the back of the net?
Yeah, I mean, you've got Masser, who's a converted forward that's playing outside back. You've got Klingenberg, who's played some midfield that can maybe push forward a line. And we've even seen Tony Presley play some forward for the Spirit last year, so maybe you bring her up as just a target and play it off and let her lay it off for Ojai or for Lloyd or for Henderson. Krieger now. Ordega back for Loman. She'll hand it back to the Nigerian. Ordega's pass blocked. It'll be Master keeping it alive. Chest trap from Ordega in tight spaces. Gives possession away, but wins it back. Nairn. Again for Ordega. Switch right for Rasso. Early ball from Rasso. Headed out by Presley. Chested down by Jess McDonald. Oh, high for Andressa. Carly Lloyd. Cutting back on her former teammate Catherine Reynolds. Left-footed ball in, headed by Estelle Johnson. Turned by Lohman for Dunn. Now Rasso for Christine Nairn. Looks like Tori Huster may be the second change for Washington. She's got her card in hand from Amanda DaCosta on the Spirit bench. Ortega on the left side. Krieger for Lohman. Slipped in for Crystal Dunn, who's onside again. Dunn tries to shot towards the far post, and that might have been more of a cross for Rasso. But either way, not on the mark, and a throw for Houston.
Yes, and it did look more of like a cross than a shot, but Rasso kind of checked away, kind of towards the PK spot, as opposed to across the 6.
Nikki Cross is ready to make her final professional appearance for Houston. She's at the 4th official now. Oh, high. Knocked out by Reynolds. We'll see the 2 changes now, I believe. Yes, we will. First, it'll be the Spirit. It'll be Tori Huster coming on. And a curtain call for Crystal Dunn.
Well, I guess at this point in the game, it's 3-0. Houston really hasn't been too dangerous in the second half. You know, you really don't need to put another ball in the back of the net. Why not be smart, put another midfielder in, maybe stick with 2 players high with Rasso and Ortega. Let's just see how this change is made.
Standing ovation for the hat-trick hero.
Why not? Well-deserved. Absolutely well-deserved.
And a hug from Mark Parsons as well.
You know, Mark Parsons has been standing every single game. He always stands. At this point, I think, hey, just sit down, relax.
And another nice ovation here as Nikki Cross's journey from Brockton, Mass. to Yukon to Sweden to Australia to Germany and back to the U.S. ends tonight.
Sure. And how great is that for her? Obviously, it would probably be even better for her if this last game was up in Boston, you know, in her hometown. But I'm sure she has plenty of family and friends here in support of her for her last professional game.
Tony Presley's the player that made way. So a straight swap there at center back is Randy Waldrom's last change. And like we said, you almost have to get Nikki Cross in this game, don't you? Someone that, you know, has put in some good service for the Dash this year and came over midseason for the Spirit last year, and I thought really stabilized that defense, which had leaked a little bit at times last year. Got Washington into the playoffs, and then was moved in the offseason for Ari Romero, the Mexican international, who is yet to make her debut, as none of the Mexicans have in NWSL so far.
Yes.
Busy summer for them with the World Cup and the Pan Am Games. Probably spent as much time north of the border in Canada than in the U.S. or in Mexico the last couple of weeks.
Right. Not really sure what's going on the far side.
Yeah, ball was kicked out almost like there was
an injury. Oh.
Yeah,
and Masters down.
Masters the one that is now kneeling by the signboard on the far side. And
that was the third change of the evening for the Dash.
And like you, I didn't see anything initially.
No.
But like you said, it's either going to be Master that perseveres or Houston playing with 10. Jess McDonald is coming over to the sideline immediately just to get some water, but Master the concern right now on the far side, another player that used to play her pro ball in DC.
Yes. She dates back to, I believe, 2008. She came here for the Washington Freedom W League team. Joined them in the Final Four of the W League. Was drafted in the 2009 WPS draft.
Been a rough night for that couple. Aaron McLeod gets hurt, and
Plenty of time to get ourselves back into it.
The 6th goal that Jess McDonald scored against the Spirit in 3 years. Ojai picking up her 5th assist of the year. That's moving up the NWSL charts now. And, you know, I think that's part of Ojai's game that's going to get her in the national team picture sooner rather than later, is that ability to set up as well as score. And we'll see if Jess McDonald gets a call in. I think she's earned it.
Right. Right, and you know, that's exactly how one of the goals was scored last week in Ellie Brush's goal.
Yep.
Ojai working hard, getting into the corner and getting a service off.
Yeah, someone that really is perfectly suited for that 4-3-3 outside forward position,
Yes.
Kalia Ojai. Margaret Domko waited to see if advantage would develop there. As Andressa was pushed, it didn't, and then she blew the whistle for the free kick. So another chance here for the Dash to get one back. A good spot for a free kick. And options to serve in Ojai and Henderson jogging over to shoot this in against a 2-player wall. Obviously the 6-foot McDonald, who just showed why she's so good in the air, is the target here. You missed Tony Pressey in this situation, but Nikki Cross is a good option also.
Certainly.
Comes in towards McDonald, headed on by Brush, and trickles to the gloves of Ashlyn Harris as Krieger was there and let her goalkeeper have it.
It almost looked as if it hit Allie Krieger's hand and dropped directly to the ground. Obviously unintentional, and there was too many people around to even call that a handball.
Spirit are ready in their 3rd sub. It'll be the NWSL debut of the Nigerian international, Josephine Chukwunonye. Try saying that 3 times fast.
I won't be able to.
Nairn shielding the ball, and Chukwunonye, a defender for Nigeria, so I'm interested to see who she comes in for. Krieger now. Back for Nairn. Chukwunonye played every minute of Nigeria's World Cup group stage. Did pick up 2 yellows, so had Nigeria advanced, she would have been suspended for that round of 16 game. Actually got a yellow against the U.S. in that game in the group stage. Rasso for Krieger. Nice turn from Krieger, getting the better of Cross, playing it in low, and handled well in the middle by Brush, as the Dash will try and work out of trouble. Lohman was the target of that low serve from Ali Krieger. Nice touch there from Henderson to get the better of Reynolds. Option in the middle is McDonald. Also arriving are Lloyd and Henderson. Played in towards Henderson and handled well by Megan Wister out for a corner. Great footed volley.
Ojai again, getting another great service off. Thankfully, you know, for the Spirit, Megan Oyster was in the right place to not allow McDonald to get any sort of touch on the ball.
Here's the goal again from Houston, and Ojai could not have played that in better with the left foot. Melissa Henderson's corner will come here as the Dash try and get back in this one very late. 79th minute, they trail 3-1. Crystal Dunn's got 3. Jess McDonald's got the one the other way for Houston. Played in towards Nikki Cross, and McDonald now knocked down. Volley from Lloyd, cleared off the line by Estelle Johnson. Still being popped up in the box and headed now by Lohman. Touch back now. And it'll be Klingenberg in the center of the park. Early serve in. Headed down by Oyster. Falls for Axon. Again, volley back in the mixer. Appeals for offside or not seen. And finally it does come up on the far side as Jess McDonald gets a touch and gets involved in the play.
Right before that service went in, she was just a sliver offsides.
We mentioned earlier that Estelle Johnson had a goal denied by a save on the line. Now she does it to Carly Lloyd to keep this game 3-1.
And that's why you keep your post players tight until that ball is cleared. That ball was not properly cleared by the Spirit, and Carly Lloyd got that opportunity to put it on frame.
Nice round of applause for the Ashburn, Virginia native Wendy Church. She makes way for Josephine Chukwunonye, and her job's going to be to mark Kilia Ojai. Rasso now on the left side. Victim of a tackle from Masser. Goes up for a Spirit throw. So that Nigerian influence seeping into the Spirit. We've seen what Ortega can do. Now Chukwunonye making her first appearance in blue and red. And more help on the way in the person of Akobi, who's with Nigeria for their Olympic qualifying against Equatorial Guinea tomorrow. McDonald Left-footed ball blocked by Estelle Johnson. Only as far as Andressa. Henderson. McDonald a step slow to realize that ball was coming, and that allows Reynolds back into play, but the Spirit left back concedes a corner here in the 81st minute, the 7th of the match for Houston.
And if the Spirit want to keep this 2-goal lead, they just got to be a lot cleaner out of the back. You know, it's late in the game. Houston's going to continue to push themselves forward. They just got to clean it up a little bit to get these sort of balls out.
The serve from Henderson, a good one towards the penalty spot. Towards Carly Lloyd, headed and saved by Harris. Headed by Reynolds now, still kept alive and cleared. Wow, that back line, goal line work has been huge on these set pieces.
Yes. The last couple minutes has been huge. A save off the goal line by Estelle Johnson, and then obviously another great save from Ashlyn Harris. That was very much a reaction save for Ashlyn Harris.
Another really good ball from Melissa Henderson. Carly Lloyd, that goal streak doesn't extend. It's not for lack of trying. She's had 3 or 4 really good chances denied by Ashlyn Harris and company tonight. Give credit to the Dash the way they finished the game, but you got to expect more from the Spirit if you're Mark Parsons, as they've lost the momentum in this game, even up 2 goals.
Sure, yes. I definitely think their possession has certainly changed in the last 20. Whoa.
Tangle there.
Not really sure what's going on.
Rasso.
Okay. Like you said, the momentum has shifted, and the Spirit really haven't had many good looks in the last 20 minutes or so.
Well, since Crystal Dunn came off, really. I mean, there really hasn't been a lot of chances since the hat-trick hero was subbed off. Rasso's had a couple touches on the ball, but Loman's got it on the right side. Mark Parsons waving his arms, windmilling Nairn forward. Good shield from Ortega, trying to turn Nikki Cross. Loman keeping it alive for Nairn. Not a lot of options for the Spirit, just 2 in the box for a serve from Nairn. But she does want to win a corner off the body of Nikki Cross.
And in that moment, that was actually a great decision by Christine Nairn not to serve that ball, because there really was no Spirit players inside the 18. It would have been a great pick and could have potentially been a counter for Houston.
Yeah, game management at this point from Christine Nairn.
Yes.
Haley Rasso, the option short. Tori Huster will join the chorus in the box here. The serve from Nairn, cleared by Master, as it looked like it was the intended for Huster there, as Huster had peeled off, gone to the keeper, Henninger to shield her, and then was the closest Spirit player to the ball. Ball up for Rasso, gets all the way through, and Henninger will grab on the edge of her box. Again, if you're just joining us, the Crystal Dunn Show has entered and then left the building, and she's been subbed off, but a first-half hat trick for the second-year player out of North Carolina, as it was done in the 28th, 36th, and then on a header in stoppage time in the 45th minute. Jess McDonald has given Houston hope with a goal in the 74th minute off a great serve from Kaylia Ohai. But the Dash running out of time here in the 84th minute. Loman with space. Picks out Rasso on the left side. Back now for Tori Huster. Just the second time, by the way, that Huster's come on as a sub for the Spirit. And they've come in this homestand. Seattle 2 weeks ago and now tonight. Chukwunonye back for Harris. And again, that speaks to the depth of the Spirit when you can have Tori Huster as an option off the bench, have Rasso as an option off the bench. Angela Salem, who we haven't seen tonight and didn't also play last week, was someone that was a fixture during the World Cup cycle, but now with Ali Krieger back, she's had to fight for her spot. Spirit just keeping some possession and working some clock here with a 2-goal lead. As Megan Oyster gets in on it. Klingenberg heading it down. Chukwunonye with a nice win over Henderson. Finds Nairn now. Broken up by Axon. Henderson, though, has it stolen back by Christine Nairn, who will find the feet of Ali Krieger. opens up for Tori Huster. Huster thought about the shot, thought about it again, and decided to go left for Rasso. Cross from Rasso towards Ortega, headed by Nikki Cross, hooked on by the head of Andresa. And now Carly Lloyd. Stumble from Lloyd and a steal from Tori Huster. She finds the feet of Lohman on the right side. Turn from Ortega, and she's fouled by Nikki Cross.
Which actually, Ortega still, even though she was tripped a little bit, she still was able to get up and keep possession.
Yep.
I'm surprised that call was even made. She certainly still had possession of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, even before she got control of that, Domka blew the whistle and pointed forward. Too far for Joanna Lohman. And the pass from Nairn, and Nairn wants a foul. Not going to get her wish. Mark Parsons having a word with the fourth official also, probably pleading the same case. Steal by Oyster. Into space now looking for Rasso, and a win from Brush. And I was actually just about to say if I was the Spirit, I would be picking on Ella Masser, knowing that she's a little dinged up. I think if she would have had a sub available to her, she would have come out. Foul there by Tori Huster on Carly Lloyd, and Tori Huster not happy with that call. And surprised she didn't see yellow there, honestly.
They almost went kind of nose to nose.
She must have said something,
inappropriate,
vehemently, but nice enough that she didn't get the booking. Yeah, a little bit of a tug there on Carly Lloyd, but Tori Huster fired up.
Thank you for that replay.
Out for a corner now for Houston. Actually, it will be a goal kick. Go the Spirit's way. Just trying to see this one off are the Spirit, and certainly you're not thinking about it at this point in the year, but goal differential could be an interesting factor in this playoff race, as the Spirit are right now +4, Houston's +1, FC Kansas City's +1. So that group there from 3 to 5, pretty close. So if you can hang on and win by 2, that might make a difference.
Sure. And seeing the product that Houston has been able to put out, especially since the World Cup players have been back, and with Carly Lloyd, unfortunately, Morgan Bryan not here this evening. I don't know if we expected it to be 3-0 at halftime. It certainly was a great first 45 minutes for the Spirit. But Houston has not given up. They have battled back into this game.
Well, and a lot of talk during the World Cup was the difference in the U.S. team was starting Morgan Bryan. So you take Morgan Bryan out of the lineup for Houston tonight, and it's not that it's been a poor performance, but it's not been quite to the level they put out the last couple weeks.
Yes.
But I think this is a big win for the Spirit in terms of, maybe solidifying that second or third playoff spot. And then it becomes a race for fourth, between I think Houston and FC Kansas City will be the two combatants there. And both those teams are very well equipped. Whoever gets in is going to be good. Cross with a good tackle to win it for Klingenberg. Ball over the top for Jess McDonald. Broken up by Oyster. And, don't get me wrong, this was a good Spirit club last year. They made the playoffs. But I think the level of this Spirit team is better. I think this Dash team would be as good or better than that Spirit team last year. And I think FC Kansas City will be as good or better than that Spirit team last year. It's a deeper league this year.
It certainly is. And every single year, during this league, I think the product has been a lot better for every single team, which is great. Which shows, the products that every team's been able to put out, but every single coach is doing their homework. They're putting a ton of effort into this league. And just trying to put the best thing out there.
Shot deflected there, and certainly there's been a good infusion of international talent as Rasso gets ahead in there, but I think this has been such a good draft. I mean, you look at just what the Spirit have gotten out of it. Whitney Church has been a consistent starter. Oyster's played every minute. You've got Didasco's been a useful sub. It's been a nice haul. You go what Western New York's done with some young players. What Houston's done with Morgan Bryan. This draft has really raised the level, I think, of this league. 4 minutes of stoppage time are into it now as the ball comes over the top. Ortega turning on the Jets, trying to shake Brush, and eventually broken up by Ella Masser. Ortega slow to get up. Now back on her feet. And again, even if she won the ball, not a lot of support. Chance now for Lloyd. Cutting back on Oyster. Wait out for Ojai as Harris was way out, and luckily for her, the ball went right to her.
Yeah, I don't think Ojai even had a chance to potentially chip her.
Yep.
You know, that could have been dangerous, but it did happen so quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
she might have thought about it.
Ashley was a step behind the penalty spot there. She was way out. Now Joanna Lohman.
Going straight for the corner.
Right for the corner, yep. Also here, and that ball, I believe, did go out of play as Joanna Lohman will reset the corner flag here.
Got completely thrown into the corner flag.
Yeah, it is going to be a free kick for Washington, isn't it?
And there you go. Just a little bit of a shove.
So essentially it's a corner kick on the edge of the arc there. And the Spirit are just going to take a light touch from Lohman to Ortega, and she's going to post up in the corner. Out
1 versus 3. The odds aren't good in that moment.
Well, we saw Crystal Dunn go 1-on-5 and score the first goal of this game.
Yeah, Ortega certainly didn't have as much space to work with, though.
No. That was like trying to shake 3 defenders in a small broom closet. Chukwunanye with a bit of a word there for Ojai. She takes this throw in. She'll take her time with this one, the Nigerian international. Header from Nikki Cross. Klingenberg now inside. Touch from Axon. Lloyd trying to shake Tori Huster. Ball inside for McDonald. Way out there was heavy, and Krieger gets a foot in. Good turn from Lohman. And she tried to just knock it up the line and waste time, but couldn't keep it in touch. Go back Klingenberg back about 10 yards.
And at this point, really every single ball just needs to be played forward for Houston. See if they can get any sort of service in the box, get a lucky bounce maybe, get a lucky shot off.
Carly Lloyd turning inside on her left foot. Lloyd's shot is wide.
Or a lucky Lloyd shot off. But a lot of times her shots aren't so lucky. Pure skill there.
That would have been tough.
Yeah,
to score from
certainly.
Lohman can't keep it in play, and it'll be a throw again for Klingenberg. Brush back to Henninger. Token pressure from Rasso as somebody boys shows pressure the keeper. Ojai on the counter. Good first touch. Cuts back on Chukwunanye. Marked now by Chukwunanye and Oyster. Good switch for Lloyd. Lloyd shot just wide. Carly Lloyd, maybe the most shots she's had all year, and she just hasn't been able to put one in.
And she's had great opportunities, and she's made Ashlyn Harris work, absolutely. Just a little off target there.
Yeah, I'm sure Mark Parsons, when they're looking at film later, said, well, how'd you leave Carly Lloyd that open?
Please don't ever leave her that wide open.
The late arriving Carly Lloyd is not a player you want to leave open. Turn from Rasso. Can't find Ortega. Broken up now by Masser. And that will do it. So, some magic from Crystal Dunn. A first half hat trick from the league's leading scorer. Washington Spirit face a late surge from the Houston Dash, Danielle Malagary, but get out with a 3-1 win.
Sure. And obviously, with the limited amount of numbers and the Aaron McLeod injury in the first half, that's a tough hill to climb for Houston Dash, but they really didn't ever give up, and they had a ton of opportunities, and I would say the last 20 minutes or so of this game was theirs. They had plenty of opportunities to put a ball in the back of the net, but the Spirit held down for the 3-1 win.
Crystal Dunn's 6th game-winning goal of the year. She's scored 4 of them at home.
Yeah, I mean, earlier on in this season when she wasn't chosen for the World Cup, you know what? She she was a true professional. She was like, you know what, I'm going to do what I can for my team, for the Washington Spirit, and be as big of a player as I can, and she certainly has done that over the course of this 2015 season.
And we'll see it in the highlights, but, two of the more conventional Crystal Dunn kind of finishes where she just breaks away and finishes. Third one on a header from a Christine Nairn corner.
Yes, yeah. She knew that maybe it wasn't in the stats yet for the Spirit, and she wanted that first goal. Probably not, but it was a great finish. Every single finish this evening, both for the Spirit and Jess McDonald's goal against the Spirit for Houston Dash, were phenomenal finishes.
Yeah, I just saw the view of the fans lined up on Spirit Hill. Another sellout crowd here. I didn't hear the final number for the attendance, but 3 straight great crowds. The weather's cooperated beautifully, and the Spirit have done their part quite nicely, beating the league leader, tying the second place team in the league, and then beating the fourth place team in Houston.
Absolutely. So the Spirit have definitely put together, Mark Parsons has definitely put together a great squad, and they're getting the points consistently out of most of their games. Their performance was good this evening, especially in the first half, putting 3 within, I guess, 17 minutes, we said.
5,418 we're hearing from downstairs was the attendance, which is pretty good.
Right. The Spirit was sending out messages via Twitter, via their website, emails, everything, saying, hey, no walk-ups allowed. We have sold out. So over 5,400 this evening. What a great crowd.
Only 2 more chances to see this team in the regular season. Midweek game against Western New York on August the 12th, and then back here on the final day of the regular season, September the 5th, against the Seattle Reign. So get your tickets at tickets.washingtonspirit.com. Get them soon because they might be out very soon.
Absolutely.
So, Danielle, we'll go through the highlights here, and I thought a really good performance from the Spirit, and I thought it was even early, but then Crystal Dunn just kind of took over things. Got to see Nikki Cross join the team picture. That was a cool moment. As it's her last professional game. The Spirit 11 with 2 changes, and under sunny skies, the Houston Dash and Washington Spirit really got this game off to a quick start as Ortega tested Aaron McLeod early. And then it was Carly Lloyd having one of those days where the ball just wasn't finding the back of the net. She hasn't had many of those recently. Good defending there from Presley to deny Crystal Dunn's cross, but we'll see plenty more of Crystal Dunn in this highlight package. Good steal here from the Spirit's second-year player, and Matheson was able to find the combination here, and then Dunn denied by a really good catch and save and hold. Then it was Christine Nairn doing what she does, causing problems on free kicks, forcing the best save of the night.
Yes, and Aaron McLeod coming up huge.
Here's the Ashlyn Harris throw-in. That's
you
just
missed
great.
It. There you go.
Spirit, I think, did a really good job of pressuring the ball and not allowing the Dash to have a lot of time to get chances there. And really, this was just Crystal Dunn holding off 5 defenders and finishing, basic stuff.
That's normal.
Stumble here, and Dunn again punishing as Bianca Henninger was the goalkeeper there. Frustration from the Dash defense as, again, Crystal Dunn slipped out of their grasp. And then Houston trying to keep it interesting, down 2 goals. Harmless shot there from Camila. And then maybe the best of the night, Christine Nairn to the 5'1" Crystal Dunn.
There's
corner.
not much more you can say about that phenomenal finish.
That was in stoppage time, so the Spirit took a 3-0 lead into the locker room thanks to we believe, the first hat trick in Spirit history. And second half, more of the same. Crystal Dunn pushed there by Tony Presley and didn't get a call there, but I thought the speed of Rasso gave the Spirit a nice boost off the bench, a good layoff there as she tried to find Dunn for a fourth. But then Houston, I think, started to get some momentum. A really good ball there from McDonald, forcing a save from Ashlyn Harris. And then it was Ojai turning provider and playing a beautiful ball into the head of Jess McDonald. Chances well off set pieces, and McDonald kept it alive, and Lloyd denied on the line by the chest-trapping clearance from Estelle Johnson. And then it was Ashlyn Harris making a big save on the line.
I think just a frustrating night for Houston, especially in the last 20, 25 minutes of this half. They had plenty of opportunities. Just not going in the back of the net for them.
Tori Huster fired up, and as we said, lucky not to get a card. And Ashlyn Harris making her final save of the night as she was called upon by Ojai, and Carly Lloyd just missing as her streak of scoring in 7 consecutive games for the national team and for club comes to an end. But like we said, it wasn't for lack of trying.
Exactly.
As you saw that highlight package, really, Carly could have had 3 herself tonight the way things went. But
Certainly.
Harris and the defense doing a good job to be in the right place at the right time. So we'll update the table for you live, pending the 8 o'clock game between Chicago and FC Kansas City. Also the 7 o'clock game with Western New York and Sky Blue FC, which honestly doesn't have a lot to do with the playoff picture as things stand now. It's Seattle on 30 points through 15 games. Chicago on 26 through 13, so they've got a chance to make up those points with those 2 matches in hand. Now the Spirit 2 points back of second on 24 points through 14 games. The Dash in fourth for now with 20 points through 15 games. Then it's FC Kansas City with 18. Portland with 16 still in that playoff picture. And after this 3-game homestand, Danielle, which went very well, 2 wins and a tie, it's off to Boston next Saturday for the Spirit. What do they have to do to keep this streak going, keep this strong play going?
Exactly. And you talked about this in our first home game a couple weeks ago, saying what type of points are the Spirit going to be able to get out of these games? And they got, what, 7 points? 7 points out of 3 games. So that's just absolutely huge going into this break for them from their homestands.
Against the teams that they're probably going to see in the playoffs, I think. Seattle, Chicago, and Houston.
Exactly.
The Dash now will have just 6 days between games. They'll play a Friday night game at home against Sky Blue FC. It's an 8:30 kickoff at BBVA Compass Stadium. And then they play Seattle home and away, the road game first, and then they finish up with Boston and at Chicago. Getting down to the end. Just now 5 games left for the Dash and half dozen, 6 left for the Spirit in a 20-game season.
Exactly. So, but that's what you want to see. You want to see, every team in the league making some sort of push, or maybe the top 6 making some sort of push, into the playoffs and see kind of where it goes from here.
Recapping the scoring one more time. Done in the 28th minute, done in the 36th minute, done in the 45th minute for Washington, and then Jess McDonald in the 74th getting a late goal back for the Houston Dash. It finishes Washington 3, Houston 1. For Danielle Malgari, we thank you very much for joining us here at the Plex. We'll see you in about a week and a half when the Western New York Flash invade. Thanks for watching, and have a good night here from the Plex.